Here's some of the best tips that we've compiled for you to use as you work on building your own communities. So tip number one is to be very proactive with your messaging. Players today have very high expectations, and it's important for you to be in front of the curve. As an example, Kings of Avalon, top 50 grossing game in the United States. Every time they post an update, they've been able to manage the expectations of their player base much more effectively. Tip number two is to create and use trackable metrics to gauge your community's performance. Yoda 1 did this quite well in Transformers Earth Wars, where they were able to measure the number of engagements from both community and in-game events. Tip number three, give your community a voice. Let them be heard. You as a developer need to pay attention to the feedback and create a space where they can provide feedback. Zombie Gunship is a great example of this. They realized that 60 to 80% of their monthly revenue was coming through community itself. They listened to their players and made subsequent updates on their game, which remonetized their players as they came back and continued playing the game. So tip number four is to not focus too heavily on the negative and toxic few. If you're spending too much of your time managing toxicity, you're not focusing enough on growing a healthy and vibrant community. For integrated forums, if a player is banned for breaking the rules or the standards of the community, they actually have to delete their game and restart from scratch to re-access the community. And as such, they are much more cautious about what they post in the forums to begin with, so that they won't get banned. Your community will therefore remain less toxic. Tip number five is to empower and reward your players. If you want players to influence your game and your community at large, you have to give something back to them. A great example of a team that did this well is the Rodeo Stampede team in China. They created a social media competition that encouraged players to create awesome shareable videos across Douyin, which is China's version of TikTok. Well, they got a lot of in-game currency. The top dog actually even walked away with a Nintendo Switch. They were actually able to double the number of users that came into the game over that 2-week period. So those are our 5 tips. If you're interested in learning more about game community management, be sure to check out our website, gcmgame.com, or follow us on social media.